Sorry, it's upside down. All right. Today, we're going to be going over Wednesday's video notes. So today we're going to be working on expanded notation, which is also a form of expanded form, and lesson textbook pages 16 through 19. All right, so with expanded notation, when they're saying the word notation, they're meaning we're going to be using the decimal forms of the powers of 10. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use this little example to help us complete the 4 down below. I'm going to do the first 2 with you, and I want you to do the last 2 by yourself. Make sure you have them complete before you turn them into your teacher next week. So I have 4. Now remember, anytime we have this little decimal, that means and. So 4 and 637 thousandths. That is 4 and 637 thousandths. Now, this little chart, it actually tells you exactly what to write with it. So basically, you would do 4 is in the ones place. So it would be 4 times 1. The 6 is in the tenths place. So it would be 6 times 1/10. The 3 is in the hundredths place. So it would be 3 times 1/100th. And then the 7 is in the thousandths place, which would mean it would be 7 times 1,000th. Now, most of the time, y'all have been used to doing your expanded form solely. Let's say if this wasn't a decimal, let's say that the number, let's say the number was 4,637. Okay. The way that y'all used to do this, you would do 4,000 because the 4 is in the thousands place, plus 600 because the 6 in the hundredths place, 30 plus 7. Now, expanded form with decimals or fractions, it's the same thing, except we just have to add in the fractional numbers by multiplying them by either the notation form, which is like this, or the fractional form. All right, so we put it together and you get this 4 times 1. Now, something that's very important, and I tend to forget sometimes, these are parentheses. These parentheses have to go with each set. So, like, this is its own problem, this is its own problem, this is its own problem, and this is its own problem. And then we have to add them all together. Okay, so let's look at the first one. 5 and 728 thousandths. Now, we're going to do this one number at a time. We're not going to rush. So, all right. The first one is 5 and 728 thousandths. So you can still use this up here, or you can either get a scratch piece of paper and do it there. But the 5 is in the ones place. Okay? So according to this little chart, I'm going to go 5 times 1. Make sure I put my plus sign right there. And then do another parentheses. My 7 is next. The 7 is in the tenths place. So it's going to be 7 times 1/10. Okay? Plus the 2 is in the hundredths place. That'd be 2 times 1/100th. Plus the 8 is in the thousandths place. So to show you how this works, we're going to put that piece of paper. Well, lost that piece of paper. Okay, so no, I didn't. It's right here in my hand. So to show you how that works, the number was 5 and 728. So 5 times 5 is 5. So I'm going to put the 5 down here. Okay? Put my decimal. 7 times 1/10 is 7 tenths. 2 times 1/100th is 2 hundredths. 8 times 1,000th is 8 thousandths. So when we add these all together, you get that answer. So that's how this works. All right, let's go to the next one. So I have 4 and 605. Now, do not let the 0 throw you off. Don't let it. We're going to take it one step at a time. Now, the 4, once again, is in the ones place. So I'm going to go 4 times 1 plus the 6 is in the tenths place. So that would be 6 times 1/10. Now the 0. Preferably, you would skip it, but it holds its place. I call it a placeholder. But if you wanted to, and some people actually have to do this because it's just how their mind works, you could actually put 0 times 100ths. But even if you do that, the answer is going to be 0 anyway. So you don't have to put this in. And then you would do the 5 times 1,000ths. Now, if you wanted to leave this part out, it would be the same thing, except you just have one less little parentheses in there. Just like that. Okay, so here is my directions. I want you to do this one and this one. Be patient with that 0. Okay? Just try your best. I want you to do these two. Okay, you can pause the video after I get done. Pause it for a few minutes. Do this. And then remember, especially if you're in my room, I'm going to be looking for these two problems when you turn in your packets. Okay? All right, so let's move on to the other part. The other part of today's lesson. We're going to be reading a decimal. Okay? So read the problem below, then explore different ways to represent the decimals. So basically what we're doing is we're just looking at different ways how you could see a decimal possibly when you're either reading a math book, when you're reading directions, or anything. All right, Josh has been tracking the growth of his dog since it was a puppy. He uses a meter stick to measure the dog's height and records the height as 604 thousandths meter. Josh's mom asks, "How tall is your dog?" What does Josh tell her or tell his mom? So, just to give you an idea, a meter is very close to a yardstick size. So, if you wanted to get in your head, a meter's about 3 feet. And his puppy, it's not even a full meter. Okay? So, it's a normal sized dog. Now, we're going to look at how Josh could tell his mother. Okay? One way is by modeling. You can use place value understanding to write the expanded form of 604 thousandths. You can also write a fraction. So both of these ways down here are showing the place value chart method. Okay? This one actually, he's physically put them in a place value chart. All right? Now this one right here, one thing I want you to do right now, and I hope you caught this, they did not put this in parentheses. I want you to do that. Okay? It helps you mentally space it out. Now, how did he get times 1/10? Think about it. Why did he multiply 6 times 1/10? Well, because the 6 is in the tenths place. And tenth can be written as 0.1, or it can be written as 1/10. Okay, now there is no hundredths. Why would Josh, in this instant, not write or give you something with the hundredths place? That's right, because there's a 0 there, and we don't have to use the 0. Then he has, but anyway, if we did, that would be it's equivalent. Okay, then we have our thousandths. And he did 4 times 1,000ths. All right, 4 times 1,000ths. Okay. He multiplied it by 1,000ths because the 4 is in the thousandths place. There you go. Okay, another way to show this is as a fraction. And once again, they did not do this. And that's a no-no. Okay. So we have 6 times 1/10. See, 1/10. And then 4 times 1,000ths. Now, when you multiply fractions, you just multiply across, basically. But then you're like, well, that's a whole number. Well, this whole number can be written as 6 over 1. Because anything over 1 is itself. If I wrote 5 over 1, the answer will be 5. 10 over 1, it's 10. 10 million over 1 is 10 million. So basically what you're saying is 6 over 1 times 1/10 plus 4 over 1 times 1,000ths. Okay, that's what we're saying. So all you got to do when we multiply, all you do, you multiply across, just straight across. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 10 is 10. 6/10. Plus 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. All right, now, so we have went from multiplying, so we multiplied here. I'm just going to put multi. And now we're back to adding. Now here's the situation. When you add, you have to have common denominators. That means your two bottom numbers have to be the same. And right now, we do not have that. So what we have to do is we have to find a common denominator. And I have a few steps to find that. When you have a common denominator, it's usually going to be a larger number. It's either going to be the larger number or a multiple of both numbers. So right now, I'm going to look at the bigger number. So it's 1,000. Okay? I'm going to ask myself, okay, will the other number go evenly into this number? And it will. 10 will go into 1,000. So guess what my common denominator is? It's 1,000. So I'm going to go right down here, do something over 1,000 plus something over 1,000. All right, now I'm making equivalent fractions. This is a multi-step problem. I want you to understand how we get here. Okay, so what do I have to do to 10 to get 1,000? How many times do I have to increase 10 to get 1,000? 10 times what equals 1,000? That's right, 100. So if I had to multiply the 10 by 100, I also have to multiply the 6 by 100. So that'd be 600. Okay, what do I have to multiply 1,000 to get 1,000? It's not a trick question, guys, really. It's 1. So 1 times 4 is 4. So then you get the 604,000 or thousandths. I apologize. Thousandths. Sorry, Velcro. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and do 17, pages 17. All right, page 17. Here's what I want you to do. I want you, after I give you the directions, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to attempt to fill this out. Okay? Now, once you filled it out, push play. And then we can work on it from here. But I want you to try to do this on your own first. So push pause, and let's see what we can do. I'll get back with y'all here in a few minutes. All right, hopefully you paused it and you did the work. I was going to give you a few little quiet minutes to pause. And you are now checking your answers. So, first question, very simple. Look at the place value chart right there. Name the 4 place values. Okay. We would have the ones, tens, hundreds. Ooh, I misspelled it. Tenths. Sorry. Hundreds and thousands. Okay. Real easy. 4 place values. I have the ones, tenths, hundreds, thousands. Okay, and which one of those is the least? I hope you put the thousands place. Because remember, the further away the number is from the decimal, the smaller it is. Okay, look at the expanded form with fractions. How many thousandths are there altogether in 604 thousandths? Okay, fraction form. How many, I just went blank. How many thousandths are there here? What number is over 1,000? Correct, 604. So there are 604 in 604 thousandths. Okay. Word form. I've been saying it a lot. We just got to write it down now. So, and you do not have to put and, okay? You only use and when you have a mixed number. So we're just going to put 600 4 thousandths. Okay. Now, what is the word form for 1.604? Well, it's the only thing you're going to add to this number is a 1 and. The rest of it stays the same as that. So we're just going to do 1 and, because we have our decimal, 604 thousandths. Okay. Okay, explain how reading digits from the right of the decimal point and knowing the name of the least place value help you read the decimal number. Use examples 604 thousandths and 1 and 604 thousandths in your example. Okay, so this is our example. All right, so we could put, for these, what is the least place value? We already answered that right here. So we can put the least place value is the thousandths place. Because it's true. And knowing that the 6 is in the thousandths place tells you how you're actually going to say that number. Now, the digit after the decimal point tells you how many of the smaller units there are. So, the decimal point tells you how many. Okay. So basically, this number right here, all right, tells you how many parts there are. Okay. So the digits after the decimal, couldn't read my handwriting on my other piece of paper. The digits to the right, I'm going to do this because just to make sure you get this, right of the decimal tell you, how did I say that? Tell you how many smaller parts there are, or smaller units. are in the number. Okay. So, for example, in 0.604, the thousandths place is, there are 604 of the small. Okay. So in 604 thousandths, okay, there are 604 smaller units. And in 1 and 604, it also has 604 smaller units, but it also has a 1. Okay, that is the textbook answer. But basically, how it helps me is when I look at a decimal number, I look at the farthest place value that a number's in, and I say, okay, it's in the thousandths place. So as I say the number, like I would any other number, then I just tag on that name, either thousands, hundreds, or tenths. So for example, this one down here. Okay, word form 0.44. I'm like, okay, that 4 is in the hundredths place. So I'm just going to say the number, which is 44. Sorry. And then tack on the hundreds. You don't have to show your work on another sheet of paper. Okay, this one right here. I have the 7 is in my smallest unit. So that's the thousandths. So I'm just going to say the number. 1, I'm out of it today. 1 and I'm not going to say 0.57. I'm just going to say 57. And what place value is that in? Thousandths. Okay. Very good. Okay. Now, we've already did some of this is when you write it with a mixed number. The only thing that changes is you add the whole number. That's it. And it acts as a whole number. So, read the problem below, then explore the different ways to think about writing the number as a decimal. The school held a race. Ava finished 1 and 1600 seconds ahead of Nadia. Brienne finished 2 and 35 hundredths ahead of Chanda. I can't read today. All right, so first thing that I'm personally going to do, because it's a word problem, I'm going to write out the number. Okay, I'm going to find my number. Then I'm going to come right over here and write it out. So I have 1 and 16 thousandths. So when I say 16 thousandths, in my mind, I know I'm going to go out 3 places. Okay? So, just to give you an idea, I wouldn't just put 16 right here. Okay? And you're like, well, just put a 0. Well, that's 160 thousandths. I want 16 thousandths. So what I would do, I would put my 1 right here and my 6, because that is 16 thousandths. and I fill in the 0. Okay? Right here, I have 2 and 35 hundredths. Hundredths is 2 places to the back. And just so happens that 35 fits in there really nice. Okay? All right. As a mixed number, you show the whole second. The whole second is to the left of the decimal. 1 whole second, and some change. 2 whole seconds, and some change. Okay, so it's 1 and. 1, 2 and. You can see right here, it's all done exactly how we did it on the other page, only it had tagged on an extra number. Okay, right here. Place value chart. So the place value chart, right here, it says 16 thousandths is 10 thousandths and 6 thousandths, or 100ths and 6 thousandths. Basically, they're saying, how could we all add these numbers together? Or how can these be said? Okay, so 16 thousandths can be broken into 10 and 6, because 10 and 6 equals 16. 100ths, because that's what it is, and 6 thousandths. Okay, same thing with the other one. Okay, last but certainly not least, we are going to be working on, okay, it says compare the mixed number and the place value representation of 1 and 16 thousandths. How does each model show the number in whole seconds? Well, the mixed number shows it with the 1 in the ones place, and the chart, it's underneath the 1 column. So, okay, so the mixed number shows the 1 in the ones place. Because it's to the left of the decimal. And in the place value, sorry, it is in the ones column. Okay. How does each representation of 1 and 16 thousandths show the value of the fractional part in seconds? Well, basically, it just shows that the 1 is over 100 and the 6 is over 1,000. And the chart shows that the 1 is in the hundreds place and the 6 is in the thousands place. So, see how we can lessen this. Okay, the mixed number shows the 1 over 100 and the 6 over, yeah, that's right, over 1,000. I'm sorry, I just went blank on the number. Okay. Then the chart has the 1 in the hundredths column and the 6 in the thousandths column. Okay. So we need to write this as a decimal. 1 and six. I looked down at the bottom. 1 and 16 thousandths. So lucky for us, I already did that. So 1 and 0.16. Now, here's what I want you to do. Okay? I want you to answer number 12 and 13. Okay? And then explain how you can write the standard form of a decimal in word form. Okay, we'll do this one together. So pause it, and then we'll go down and do 14. Okay. How do we explain how to write standard form of a decimal given in word form? Well, first, you would look to see if there's a whole number. So, or you look to write. You write the whole number first. Okay, because you just can't, you have to look at that whole number. And most of the fractions that we may deal with for the next little bit may not have a whole number, so you can skip that part. Now, you write the decimal point as and. You don't put decimal point. Okay? So you write and to represent, that means it means, okay? Represent the decimal point. You do not put decimal. You can see right here. It is not 1 decimal 16 thousandths. It's 1 and 16 thousandths. Okay, then write the fractional. Wait, make sure I'm spelling this right. Yeah, fractional part. And make sure that you're saying the ending position. Okay, with smallest unit position. Okay. Okay, so I want you to do 15 and 16. Now, this is your, I know this was a longer lesson, but the rest of them won't be this long. So you're going to do that. That is your video lesson for today. And if you have any questions, just either email me or Miss Lynette. So that was your video lesson for reading a decimal. I will talk to y'all later.